It's Jordan Jonas Sparks. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be revealing some of my deepest, darkest secrets. And I honestly don't even know which secrets I'm going to be revealing, because the reason I decided to do this as a live stream is because I pulled up this tag of 36 questions that you're supposed to ask somebody to get to the core of who they are and figure out everything about them, if it's somebody that you want to date or fall in love with. And so I have not looked at any of these questions yet. And the way that it works is you have to like only look at one question at a time, and then you have to like swipe, and then it'll show you the next question. So I guess this way it will prove that I am answering all of these questions honestly and giving you guys my natural reactions. And yeah, I guess let's get into it. If you are in this live stream now, could you please just give this video a thumbs up? And that would be awesome to get this video circulating. And if you guys want to do the 36 question tag as well, I will leave the link to the tag in the description when I post this video. So the first question says, if you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be? Ooh, anyone in the world. So I guess that would have to mean that they are still living. If there was anybody that I could invite in the world to dinner at this point in my life, I think it would have to be my mom, just because I miss my mom and I haven't seen her in a really long time. So I'm gonna have to say my mom. Okay, so that's cheesy, but that's my answer. Number 2 says, would you like to be famous? In what way? Oh, geez. Okay, well, I think if you guys have been following my channel, you would know that I always wanted to be famous growing up. I always wanted to be like some kind of superstar. I wanted to be on a stage performing for thousands of people, and that's what I always wanted since I was like really little, and that's changed whether I wanted to be a dancer, or a singer, or a songwriter, or just a motivational speaker, or now a YouTuber, or whatever it is that I decide to do. But yeah, I guess you could say some form of platform I would like to have. I don't really like to call it fame. I don't care about that anymore. Okay, so number 3. Number 3 says, before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say and why? I don't do this ever anymore, but I feel like before, when I was really little, I used to, or not when I was really little, but when I was like a teenager or like 18, 19, I used to get super anxious about any kind of phone call. So if I had to phone the dentist or something, I'd be like, okay, this is what I'm going to say. And I would like go through it in my head before I made the phone call, just so that I wasn't like tripping over my words. So that. Okay, the number 4, the 4th question says, what would constitute a perfect day for you? So a perfect day for me would have to be a day where it is like super mild temperature, like not too hot, not too cold, not raining or anything like that. It could be a little bit windy and breezy as long as it's warm. And spending that time with somebody that makes me feel excited and makes me feel like I'm having fun and feel adventurous and like brings out my inner child. So to spend a day with that kind of person in perfect weather, probably exploring somewhere that I've never seen before in the entire world. So maybe on a vacation somewhere cool that I've never seen, that maybe that person is showing me for the first time. That would be a perfect day for me. Okay, so number 5 says, when did you last sing to yourself or to someone else? Well, I sing to myself like every 2 minutes. So the last thing that I was singing, I think, was No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande like 2 minutes ago, so. Ain't got no tears left to cry, 'cause I'm picking it up, I'm loving, I'm living, we turning it up. I just want you to come with me. We got that lover mentality. Ain't got no tears left to cry. Okay, number 6 says, if you were able to live to the age of 90, which is pretty old, and I hope I live to 90, I've always hoped that I could live to 100. If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? And I would definitely, this is definitely a difficult question. I'm going to have to say the body of a 30-year-old, because then you'd have the physical capabilities to do anything, because I was about to say the mind of the 30-year-old, but then no, because not everybody that's 90 has like dementia, or like people don't just all start losing their mind. Like some people that are 90 years old are like sages and gurus and the most wise people because they have 90 freaking years of life experience. So I would say definitely not a 30-year-old mind, because I'm gonna be 30 soon, and if I had to like only have my intelligence and only have my wisdom for the rest of my life, that would be hella boring. So I would have to pick being a vampire, basically, and keeping the 30-year-old body. Okay, so number 7 says, do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? Whew, that's a dark one. Damn. No, I don't really have a secret hunch or any fears about how I'm going to die. The only thing that I will say is that both my father and my brother died in water in 2 different ways. So maybe I will die in water in some way. That's the only hunch that I could have. Maybe just the universe recreating patterns. So number 8 says, name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common. Well, I don't have a partner, so number 9 says, for what in your life do you feel most grateful? In my life, I am most grateful for being able to continuously learn every single day, because the only way that I've grown out of pain and grown stronger and grown through heartbreak and all of those things is by getting more wisdom, by waking up every day and learning something new and having the opportunity to move into becoming a different person and not being stuck as the person that you are. But I'm also so grateful for all of the people in my life and all of the support system that has like magnetically, just universe magic has happened in my life. I don't know how to explain it, but everybody that is here that supports me in my life, I am very grateful for them as well. Okay, so number 10 says, if you could change anything about the way you were raised, what would it be? I would have my stepdad not be so, like, fear-raising. Like, if you guys have ever watched Dance Moms and you've ever seen Abby Lee Miller and you've ever thought, oh my god, this lady is, like, not going about raising children the right way. That was my stepdad. So if there was any way that I could just take the fear part, because it did make me like somebody that is always needing to strive for the best and be perfect, but it's like, it's also created that like sense of perfectionism, which is not actually a good thing in the long run, and like created like this sense of fear, like fear of people that are in authority, fear of anybody that would treat me that way again in life. Even though I'm an adult now, I still feel that with me as I get older. So that would be the one thing that I would change. Number 11. It says, take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. So I don't have a partner, so we're just going to say that you guys are all my partner, and I'm going to explain my life story. 4 minutes. Okay, well, it is 8:47, so we are going to talk about this until 12, it's late till it's at 9 minutes in the live stream, and then we will go until 13 minutes. Okay, so hi, my name is Jordan Jonas Sparks. I was born on January 23rd, 1990 in Grand Prairie, Alberta. I had my mom, Terry, and my dad, Lance, and my 2 older brothers, Bryden and Alex. We were living in like a dirt poor, like ghetto apartment. I think it was like a 1-bedroom apartment when I was born, and all of us were living there. I was born at the Queen Elizabeth II Hospital there in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Little did I know that my dad was struggling with a mental illness, and by about 4 years old, my parents were struggling back and forth because there was so much turmoil in their relationship because of my dad's paranoia. And so my parents broke up. I ended up living with my mom and my 2 brothers in my aunt's house with my aunt and my younger cousin for a few months until my cousin and my aunt moved out, and then at that same summer is when my dad came down from Nanaimo and kidnapped me and my brother Bryden, leaving my brother Alex there with my mom. And we were brought to Nanaimo, BC. We hitchhiked to Nanaimo, BC. And then I moved to Cranbrook, BC, where I started elementary school in Nanaimo, BC. Then we moved to Cranbrook, BC, where I did most of elementary school. Then I moved to Nelson, BC, and I did half of grade 6. That's when my dad brought me and my brother back to live with my mom, and we went back to Grand Prairie. I started school in Grand Prairie. I lived in Grand Prairie from grade 6 to grade 12. I had my first girlfriend in grade 7. She ended up being bisexual, and then now she has a baby. I ended up being gay. I had my second girlfriend in grade 10. We didn't even kiss. We dated for like 6 months. I graduated high school and stayed behind in Grand Prairie to do an extra year of school so that I could become a hairdresser. Then I moved to Oakville, Ontario, and I did a year of school for performing arts, which was like singing, dancing, acting, musical production, all of that kind of stuff. And then I moved to Brockville, Ontario, and I did 3 years of school for musical theater performance, and halfway through that program I decided to leave and I went to Toronto. I worked there in film and TV for 6 months, and then from there I went back to school in Brockville, finished my diploma in 2014. We have about 30 seconds left. Then in 2014 I moved back to Toronto. My dad was found dead in a waterfall in Nelson, BC, so I canceled my life in Toronto, moved back home to Alberta, went and spent some time with my dad's family and celebrated my dad. Then I moved to Vancouver 2 years ago because I got an offer to be on Descendants 2, singing and dancing and acting for a week with Kenny Ortega, directing, who is my bucket list guy. And now here I am in North Vancouver working at a coffee shop and doing YouTube. So that is my life in 4 minutes exactly. Perfect. Okay, number 12. So if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be? If I could have any one quality or ability, if I could have like some kind of extreme empathy, but also have a force field so that I could protect my own emotions. So if I could feel everybody's emotions and feel what everybody is thinking and feeling, but not have it make me absorb all of the negativity and all of the bad energy and feel like anxious and panicked, I would love to have that as my ability so that I could connect with every single human, whether you can speak my language or not, and connect with like any kind of animal, anything like that. So major extreme empathy, I guess, would be my superpower. Okay, number 13 says, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I think I would want to know... Ooh, this is really, really curious. I think I would want to know what I would end up doing with my life in terms of like I know that my passion is always going to be inspiring people and trying to connect with people, but I'm wondering which medium I will take, whether I will be like a performer or just a YouTuber that like does daily vlogs, or whether it's going to be talking about like manifestation and the laws of the universe and be like some kind of spiritual person in the future. I don't know. Who knows? But I think that's what I would ask. Number 14, because I don't want to know if it's like somebody that I'm going to meet or when I'm going to fall in love or when I'm going to die, because those are things that I don't feel like you're meant to know. That's kind of the secrets and the fun of life, you know? So number 14 says, if there is something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time, why haven't you done it? Okay, so the thing that I've dreamed of doing for a long time is performing live on a stage in front of like a massive audience. And why haven't I done it? Well, because I don't have a massive audience yet. And so when you're somebody like me who is just an average singer, you're never going to really have like these opportunities to sing in front of like a giant audience. Like when I audition and stuff for singing things, it doesn't really go well. I am not a prodigal singer or anything by any means like that. I just have a lot of passion, and I love to sing, and I love to write songs, and I love music. And so I know because of that passion that is what helps me build a platform of people that support my art and support me and that I connect with, because they connect with me as a person. I don't think by any means that I like open my mouth and people are like, oh my god, it sounds so good. Like, I'm not that singer. I'm not Ariana Grande. So, yeah, that would be the dream. And just like as a tiny, like, small side note, to be able to do a side aerial in dancing, I've always wanted to be able to do a side aerial or do like a back handspring, and I've never been able to do that, and it's just because I can't get over my fear of going over my head. So if somebody could help me with that, then I would totally do it. Okay, number 15 says, what is the greatest accomplishment of your life? So, the greatest accomplishment of my life, I would say the greatest accomplishment of my life is making sure to stay consistent here on my YouTube channel and staying here and creating a family that is like so supportive of each other and just being able to feel that I'm actually having some kind of positive impact on at least a group of people. And yeah, I guess my other accomplishment would be going back to college and graduating after dropping out for a year to work in film. Okay, so number 16 says, what do you value most in friendship? So I think what I value most in a friendship is being open to communicate. Like, I understand that people don't always have like every day where they're there to listen, but just like being able to value communication for one, and honesty, because I can't be open with somebody if they're not honest and trustworthy, and somebody can't be open with me if I'm not honest and trustworthy. Okay, so number 17 says, what is your most treasured memory? I think my most treasured memory, oh, there's so many good ones, but I like to keep all of the good memories of when I was a child close because I don't have my dad or my brother with me anymore. So whenever I think of like any time that my entire family was still together and everybody was still alive and my dad wasn't like super sick yet, I like to think of those memories. It's just when everything was like whole and peaceful and pure. So probably like my really early childhood. I don't know if there's a very specific memory that I could say. Okay, so number 18 says, what is your most terrible memory? Okay, so my most terrible memory was probably the day that I woke up in the hotel in Revelstoke because the police officer was there to tell my mom that my brother had died on vacation, and that was just too much for me to handle, so that's a terrible memory. Number 19 says, if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living and why? Okay, if I found out that I was going to die in 1 year, I would probably figure out a way to borrow a whole bunch of money or get some kind of people to feel bad for me and give me some kind of charity so that I could stop working and just go on some grand 365-day adventure and then die. Because, yeah, I don't think it's any way to spend your last year of life just living and serving at a job kind of thing. That would be no way to spend your last year. But that's a big part of what I'm doing right now is working full-time because I live in reality where you have to pay bills and be an adult. So number 20 says, what does friendship mean to you? Friendship to me is meaning an equal playing field of respect where you don't have to necessarily enjoy all of the same things. You don't need to spend all of your time together, but you do need to respect each other's time, respect each other's passions, respect each other's energies and goals, and to be supportive of your friends' goals, whether they're the same goals as yours or not, because that's what friendship is to me. And at the base of friendship to me is love and honesty, and I think that's pretty much sums it up. Just, you support me, I will support you, I will show you love and respect, and I will build you up in hopes that you do the same for me. And if you guys have somebody out there that doesn't really feel like that's what they're doing for you, you might want to reevaluate that situation and that friendship. Because, of course, friendship is going to mean something to everybody else, but if you have somebody that is only there to be built up and doesn't build you up and is only there to take your love but doesn't love you back, then maybe that is not a good friend. That's all I will say for that. Number 21. What roles do love and affection play in your life? Okay, well, I'm a very, very, very loving person, and I would say that I'm sometimes too loving to the point that it ends up getting in the way of my own goals and needs. I'm like, I need time to accomplish my own things, and I need time to mostly like relax and meditate and be at peace. But a lot of the time, I know that lots of people want to spend time with me, and sometimes I spread myself way too thin, and that's a blessing. That's not always been a thing in my life. A lot of the time, as you guys know, if you've followed me on this channel, there's times when I had nobody to spend my time with and no friends to hang out with. But when I do have lots of people that are wanting to hang out with me, or lots of people that want me to do their hair or to go do things, go on adventures, I tend to like get socially overwhelmed and don't take enough time to just be by myself and recuperate mentally. So I would say that I'm a very loving person to be supported by. I like to show all of my friends love. I am the kind of person that likes to find out what your passions are and what makes you tick and support that. And I would say in terms of affection, oh, hi, Kaylee. Hello, my queen. In terms of affection, I would say that I'm not like a very physically affectionate person. Like, I will give people hugs and stuff, but I'm not the kind of person that's like laying on the couch cuddling with my friends, and I'm not in like a relationship or anything, so I'm not like physically affectionate with people right now. But yes, so number 22 says alternate sharing something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. Share a total of 5 items. Okay, so this is another one that I was supposed to have a partner for, so oops. A positive characteristic, well, if you guys are my partner, I would say that the positive characteristics of you guys are you're extremely encouraging, and you're extremely loving and supportive of each other, and you guys like to look for the heart in somebody and the intention of what they do instead of like gloss, and like looking for the superficial thing. And that's what I value about my sparkly family, is that you guys are all people with a big heart, and you're all like empathetic people that see the true value in people, and not like you're not looking for somebody to look perfect or give a shit about that. And number 5, I would say that I love that you guys provide constructive criticism and not hate. Okay, so number 23 says, how close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's? Bum bum ba da. Okay, so I would say that parts of my childhood were extremely warm and fuzzy. Like, I remember my mom being like really, really affectionate and loving when I was really little. I remember having so much time to spend with like my extended family and all of my brothers and my cousins when I was little. And then when I lived with just my dad and my brother, my dad was always like an adventurous, exciting person, and like showed us lots of things in life. But at the same time, he wasn't very like physically warm. He didn't like to like hug us or anything like that. And then from that point onwards, like, my mom wasn't really physically affectionate growing up, and my stepdad didn't really even talk to me at all. So I would say that not really too warm and fuzzy compared to a lot of people, but my early childhood definitely was. And I had the benefit of having lots of extended family to spend time with, so that's warm and fuzzy. Number 24 says, how do you feel about your relationship with your mama? Well, I would say that me and my mom have off and on been like best friends in life. And right now we're both like at a point in our life where we don't talk very often. We're both extremely busy. We both work more than full time, and we don't live in the same city. But when I'm living in the same city as my mom, or when we live in the same house, we're pretty much like as close as a mom and a child could be. I don't have like any boundaries with my mom. I can talk to her about pretty much anything, and we just like to go for walks and walk the dogs, and we have very basic interests. I don't know. I just like to spend time with my mom, and we, yeah, have a pretty good relationship, I would say. Number 25 says, make 3 true we statements each. For instance, we are both in this room feeling... I'm just going to skip this one because it's another we one. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share. Okay, this one is super easy for me. I wish I had someone with whom I could share adventures, because I love, as you guys can see, going like out to forests and going out to like hikes and showing you guys like my magical forest of wisdom and truth, and basically going on adventures. But I hate doing anything fun when I don't have anybody to share it with. I am totally a workaholic, and I'm fine to sit at home and like film videos, edit videos, and work on like business stuff. I'm fine to work my job, do like clean the house, do anything productive by myself, run errands, like anything. I am Miss Independent, but I don't like doing anything fun by myself. So if it comes to like watching TV, I don't watch any TV by myself. This is why I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies by myself. I don't play video games by myself. And I'll go for walks and adventures, and I like to vlog and bring the camera, because then it feels like I'm bringing all of you guys with me. But I just like sharing fun. I like to share that feeling. Yeah. And like when I go on vacation, for example, and I have a great time, I need to like come back and be like, everybody, you need to feel all of my excitement for how great this was, because I couldn't bring you with me in my suitcase. So, okay, number 27. If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. So I'm going to just say that you guys are my partner for this. And if we were going to be like great friends in real life, I would think that you guys need to know that... I don't know. It's so tough because I literally share like every single detail about my life here on YouTube. But you would need to know, I guess, that I need my alone time, I guess, is the biggest thing. Like, as much as I want to go on adventures and be with everybody and have fun and stuff, and you guys know that I am an emotional roller coaster, the biggest thing that you guys don't see, because I'm here every single day and I show you every aspect of my life, is that I need time to recharge and be by myself and just decompress and meditate. And when I have 3,000 of you that I'm talking to right now, if there's 3,000 of you to be friends with, then I think I would need some time to meditate. So I love you guys, and that's what I would say you need to know. Number 28 says, tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met. Okay, well, I feel like we already did that with the 5-part thing, the 5 questions. So I'm going to just say what I like about you guys again. Different things. You're loyal, trustworthy, big-hearted, passionate, and you're all goofy. So number 29, share with your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. Okay, so I remember my first embarrassing moment happened in well, this is like the pivotal, most embarrassing moment of my life in my child's eye, because basically I was in grade 1, and I remember we were all going outside for like the last block, like last 45 minutes of school, and it was like late springtime, early summer, and it was super warm and nice outside, and they were like the teacher was letting us go play. We actually had a substitute teacher, and the substitute teacher was letting us go play outside on the playground for the last 45 minutes of school, and I had this best friend named Josh at the time, and I'd never had like a male best friend, and that was my first male best friend, and I think maybe that's why this event was dramatic. But we were all running to the playground, and I was like a real road runner, so I'm like running really fast, and Josh was running behind me trying to catch up to me, and he like went to grab at my shirt, and he accidentally grabbed at my pants and pulled down my pants, and so my naked butt was showing for like 5 seconds as I was like scrambling to pull up my pants when I was in first grade. And I remember like being so totally traumatized that we were like friends off after that. We never talked again. I moved schools, and that was just like the end of it. And I still think of it to this day. I'm like, that was literally my best friend in the entire world, and I was so embarrassed that we like couldn't even talk after that. So that was the most embarrassing moment of my childhood. Number 30 says, when did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself? Well, I don't know if I cried in front of another person lately, but the last time I cried was... Oh, I shared it on my Instagram feed. I was crying, actually. And I was just like, I don't even care if I'm going to record this while I'm crying. I'm just going to share this because it's real. And so I was just like having a moment, and I was singing For Good from Wicked. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those that help us most to grow if we let them. Here's a tampon. And we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true. Here's some pantyhose. But I know that who I am today because I knew you. So anyways, that song was making me think of Kaylee, who's just commenting in this video, and making me think of all of the new friends that I've made in my life. And literally, sometimes I just sing songs and I'm just like focused on the lyrics, and then sometimes I'm listening to songs or I'm just singing songs, and then I like really feel the lyrics, and that's when I'm an emotional, blubbering mess. Or when I'm watching any of my friends perform. Like when I was in college for 4 years, we had like vocal master classes where I would just watch people perform, and if any of my friends performed, like every week they were getting better at singing, and every week I would be like so connected to their performances that I'd be like just a crying mess. So that was good and fresh and fun. So number 31 says, tell your partner something you like about them already. Jeez, this is like the 4th time of saying the same question. Okay, well, something I like about you guys already is that you're my BFFs and you're all mine. So number 32 says, what, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? Oh, too serious to be joked about. I don't like when people make jokes about like any kind of sexual assault, molestation, or rape, or anything like that. That's just too far. So yeah, I would say that. Number 33. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone, and why haven't you told them yet? Ooh, okay, well, what have I not told people? Whew. I feel like I'm usually pretty honest about, like, if I have feelings for somebody, I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be like, hey, 3 years later, so I used to have a crush on you, like, 3 years ago, so, like, that's good impression fun now that this is never gonna happen. I would say that maybe I would like to have a conversation with my stepdad about why we have no relationship, but I don't feel like we're ever going to have a relationship regardless, so I'm not sure if that's a conversation that's really bothering me, but that's just a conversation that I used to want to have that I never had, I guess. So, maybe that. Number 34 says, your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, the sweet little kittens, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be, and why? Oh, It wouldn't be anything here. It would be my house in Alberta where like my little keepsake box is. I have like my very first love letter from grade 7. I have like little notes that people wrote me from like all throughout my childhood. I have like little pictures and little gems and items that I got like from my grandma when she passed away or my dad when he passed away, and just like all of my little keepsakes that I've collected over my entire life fit in this tiny little Tetley tea can that I got from my grandmother when she passed away when I was 7 years old. And that would be the one little tin that I would go run back in if there was like one item that I wanted to keep. Okay, so number 35 says, of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing and why? Well, I didn't want anybody in my family to die, but I had my brother and my dad pass, and having my brother pass away was most disturbing. So I think at this point in my life, if I lost my mom, that would be pretty disturbing because she's probably the person that I'm the most close to. So yeah, that would be pretty freaking disturbing. But I know that eventually she will pass. And this is the very last question, you guys. So it says, share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also, ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen. Okay, so I guess I'll leave this with you guys to say in the comments here, and if you're watching this back in playback, then I'll let you guys respond to that in the comments section of this video. But it says, share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Okay, well, here it is. So, to me, my greatest problem that I seem to experience over and over and over and over and over in my life is that I end up putting people on a pedestal. So if I really, really respect somebody, and I really admire somebody, or they're like, oh, a kitten? Oh, there's a kitten came to say hello. Say hello, kitten. You're angry? Look how green your eyes are, kitten. So I seem to put people on a pedestal, and whether that's like people that I respect, people that I admire, or people that I have a crush on. And so this is a huge, huge reason that I wasn't able to audition without keeping like mental sanity of any kind, is because I would show up at these audition rooms for these film studios and these TV studios and these movie producers, and I would just be like, I can't remember anything that I was like. I would spend hours and hours practicing my lines. I would know all of my lines. I would be so confident in my character because I feel like intrinsically I have a good capability at acting because I'm able to like transform into new people, and that's like why acting has always been so like it's always been a huge passion of mine. But I put these people on a pedestal. So when it is in an audition room or anything, I see myself as down here, and then these people looking up at me, judging or whatever it is. So I can't like be grounded. I can't just be myself. I can't just breathe. And then when it comes to people that I have a crush on, I can't ever just be naturally myself. And that's the only thing that's attractive about me, is my personality and who I naturally am. And so people are attracted to me as a friend because this is who I naturally am. But then as a partner, if you put somebody on a pedestal, they feel that energy, and the universe needs to balance out that energy. So you will not be together with somebody that you put on a pedestal. So I don't know if you guys have any advice for me in that sense, but that is where all of my anxiety lies as a person. That's when I have panic attacks and stuff. It's when I'm around people that are like of an authority figure or something in my career, and I feel like a sense of panic and like I'm putting them on a pedestal, or like when I see a celebrity that, or not even a celebrity, but just like actors that I really, really like, and I'm on set with them and they come and talk to me and they're being nice and friendly and I can't even breathe, let alone just talk to them like a regular human being. So I would say that. And yeah, I guess to tie that, just random thought, I had a bunch of guys like from high school always come up to me afterwards, like when we would see each other after a few years after we graduated high school. Hi, Ava. And they would always be like, you know, bro, the only reason we were not friends, I was so jealous of you. Like, you always, like, hung out with all these girls, and you talked to all of these girls, and I just didn't understand why they would all want to be your friend, and blah, 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 blah. And they couldn't get these girls to hang out with them. And I always immediately was like, well, duh, I wasn't trying to fuck these girls, so of course they're going to want to be my friend. And they're not going to be wanting to be yours. But what the real reason is because I'm comfortable with who I am around people that I am not attracted to as a partner, so I can be who I naturally am with no guard at all, and that is what attracts so many people to like me as a friend. And so by people, I should say mostly girls, because I've always been way, way, way more comfortable with girls, women, anybody that is female, and I don't know, that's just how I've naturally always been. And I would say that for guys, the reason why they're not comfortable, or why girls are not comfortable around them, is because they are not comfortable around the girls. And it's the exact same thing that I feel when I see somebody that I have a huge crush on, because I'm like, oh, they're cute. Oh, this person must be like something special. So I can't talk to them like a normal person because I'm not something special, so I can't act like a normal person or just breathe. And so not everybody has it that way where they're like super panicked mess, but the reason why people well, the reason why these guys were looking at me in high school and being like, you're friends with all of the girls, is because the girls were attracted to who I naturally am as friends, and because I had my guard down, they had their guard down, but they couldn't have their guard down around somebody that just wants to, like, get with them or get in their pants or sleep with them or anything like that. And if any of these guys, literally their intention was just to hang out and just to have their guard down and be friends, then the girls would have no problem with that. But that's not their intention. And people feel your intention. Like, everybody has intuition, whether they're tuned into it or not, or whether they believe what they're feeling is intuition, or whether they think they're just having a rational thought. Everybody has intuition, and everybody feels these intentions. It's the reason why you can tell if somebody is lying, you can tell if somebody's trying to manipulate you, you can tell if somebody wants the best for you, or if they're just being like, I hope you stop traffic. Like, people sense intentions, and we all have a sixth sense. Anyways, so that is it for this 36 question series. I hope you liked getting to know me a bit better. I hope that I can get to know you guys a bit better in the comments section when you guys answer some of these questions as well, especially like the partner ones. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss any more videos. And if you have any ideas for any other tags that we could do here on the channel or any other videos, then definitely let me know in the comments, and that would be great. And yes, Kaylee, we should have a phone call tonight, but I am going to work I'm covering the end of somebody's shift, so text me. And as always, make sure to be weird, be wild, and stay sparkly, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I love you so, so, so much. Okay, bye.